How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Pan Geekery Podcast, a weekly live video podcast celebrating all things geek from all diverse perspective. I forgot to mute my Twitch window, so I got the weird delay in my voice.
From the all diverse perspective.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said from the all diverse.
the singular all diverse.
Diverse perspective.
Celebrating all things geek from an all diverse perspective. And what we are going to do we're going to talk about TV, film, video games, all the good things, covering all the nooks and crannies of fandom. My name is Earl Balon. I am an actor improviser based in Los Angeles, California. And let's see, my favorite fruit is bananas.
All right. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Walter. I am a camera guy, editor, and Marvel fanatic. And my favorite fruit are mangoes.
Nice.
Oh.
Whoever wants to go next.
Okay. Hey guys, my name is Caitlin Faye. I'm an actor, director, writer, and a singer. And my favorite fruit are nectarines.
Nice.
Oh, yay. Hi, I'm Jen. I am an actor, writer, multimedia artist, and stuff doer. And my favorite food is a hot and sour soup from Minghua Noodle House.
Wow, that's very specific.
We just opened it up. Nice.
Oh, I thought it was fruit. Our favorite.
I did say it.
Oh, favorite fruit?
Yeah,
fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fruit.
Favorite fruit is pineapple.
Nice.
Oh.
Pineapple.
Pineapples eat you back.
Ichiban.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I just want to say what's up, everybody. As you can see, we are still like social distancing. So shout out to everybody in chat. Thank you for being in there. What's up to JK Dragon King 2013? What's up to Mitch Narito? What's up, dude? So as you can see, we have an extra panel on the podcast today. We are joined by a special guest, Miss Joy Regullano. I can't.
What is Regullano?
Regullano.
She sounds so Italian now.
Regullano.
I can't not pronounce your name like the Filipino way.
Regullano.
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 Something like I don't say it right either.
So, hey Joy, what's up?
Hi, thanks for having me. This is so exciting.
So would you like to intro yourself?
Oh yeah, writer, actor, comedian, mediocre hip hop dancer, and
sample.
Sample.
My favorite fruit is the Korean pear.
Nice. Those are so tasty.
Good choice.
Very juicy, yeah.
So tasty. So again, what's up to everybody in chat? Hi again, Mitch. Mitch says joy. Just
I want to look at the Twitch
call attention. You can just, if you log on to twitch.tv/pangeekery, you can look at the chat.
Oh yeah, just mute your Twitch stream first.
Yeah, mute the window because I always forget to do that.
I forget to do that too.
Yeah. I would like to call attention to a few ways you can help support this podcast. First of all, we do have our donation buttons to Stream Elements. You can also throw us a subscription to Twitch directly, or if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can do it through that. For that, it's free, but we still get some kickback. So yeah, check that out. You can throw us some bits and cheers, or hit up, if you're shopping on Amazon, hit up our Twitch affiliate links down below. So that's super helpful. Also, sub to all our social media. Everything is at Pangeekery, PANGEEKERY. So that's on IG, on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere at Pangeekery. And check out like our old videos on YouTube. We have some game stuff up there. Our old guests are up. So Tony Kim, Lee Chesley. We talk about Star Wars. So a bunch of stuff. We have a lot of content. Check that all out. So today we have a very special episode for the first reason being we have Joy on. Hey Joy again.
Yay!
What's up?
Hello
and
again.
Secondly, we're going to be talking about Westworld series season 3, episodes 1 and 2. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So what's everybody been up to since last week?
Man, it's been very busy. I just went on a big road trip this weekend. I went to look at this my kitchen and it's really nice.
Oh, I was like, what?
This water, my waterfall sink or sink waterfall. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
How was it?
It's cool. It's like really, there's a lot of stuff there, and it's kind of dirty, dang pollutants. But it got cleaned up over the weekend. So that's about it. That was my weekend.
Exciting.
How about you guys?
Go ahead.
I don't know. I've been actually kind of busy. I don't know. Kind of catching up with people, like doing a lot of Zooming this past week with Roomed Improv, and in support of White Parents. We hung out on Friday and played. Everybody's playing Jackbox right now.
Yeah.
And then we did some streaming. We shot a video, actually. Caitlin and I did.
Singing? Like a music video?
That hasn't been posted yet.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll do it tomorrow. First thing tomorrow.
It's all good.
I don't have mornings anymore, you guys. I wake up in the afternoon because everything is melded.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
It was same.
Yeah.
Literally the only reason I woke up this morning when I did was because I had an audition due at 10. So I would have otherwise I would have slept through it. But I had to learn some After Effects and like Blender stuff. So I did a lot of that this past week.
Oh.
Anybody else?
I've been doing a lot of Zoom calls as well. I've also been staying up consistently till 5 a.m. like every day.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Savage.
What are circadian rhythms?
I don't know what they are anymore, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gabriel Bosco in chat. Thank you for the bits. Woo!
Yay!
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yay.
JK Dragon 2013 says Stardew hype. Yeah, buddy.
Stardew hype.
Joy, what have you been up to?
I have to do some research for this thing I'm working on. So I've been reading a lot of children's meditation books, which is actually really fun. It's actually really it's like children's emotion management books as well, and it actually helps me as an adult. Like there's this whole series of books. It's like by Mary Nin or something, and it's like there's Angry Ninja and there's Anxious Ninja, Money Ninja, Lazy Ninja. It's like about these ninjas that like learn how to manage their emotions, and it's so cute, and I highly recommend it.
Wow.
What's the title again?
Nice.
It's like a series of 14 books or something, but some of my favorites were Perfect Ninja. For all you perfectionists out there, it's okay to not be perfect sometimes because we're all human.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I know Asians are like, blasphemy.
What?
I know. I have to work on it till it's perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome stuff. Well, yeah, that's our catch up for right now. Let's move into Attacking the Joy. Yay, Joy.
Yay.
Hey, Joy.
So, Joy, I know you introduced yourself as an actor. Can't talk. Actor. I didn't sleep again last night, so an actor, comedian, all that. How did you get into that? Like, what was the spark for you?
Well, I always thought I was going to be a doctor until I was about 18, because my parents were doctors and I was just going to follow in my dad's footsteps. But I did always like making people laugh, like in 7th grade, when we would have those assignments to like put a vocabulary word in a sentence. Like I was like, that's easy, but you know what's not easy is making it funny. So I like would try to make all of my vocabulary sentences funny for no reason. And I like doing the little skits for like English class and stuff. And so when I went to college, I joined this Asian American theater group called Theater Rice, RIP. I don't think it's around UC Berkeley anymore.
It is not,
but that gave me, I think they folded, but it was, it gave me a safe space to try this out. And then I switched to theater and the rest is history.
Nice. That's awesome. And I know things have been busy for you ever since you came to Hollywood. So appearances on Supernatural, Mythic Quest, Raven's Banquet, which is your most recent thing, if I recall correctly. Support of White Parents, I've heard of it.
Oh, that old thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, not to mention seeing her on the Progressive commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, the funny thing is, out of all that, I think the thing that my parents are most excited about is like the Best Buy commercial because it played during the Warriors game or something.
Yeah. True test.
Yeah.
Warriors
and it's so funny that you said the Mythic Quest is like the most. I actually shot that last January, and the thing I shot more recently was Carol's second act. But Mythic Quest came out the most recently, so it's funny how TV schedules happen.
Yeah.
It's cool when you like did something a long time ago and it comes back up and you're like, yeah, I just did that, even though you didn't.
I'm
and
still like,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say that
the glory just continues.
Yeah, and then people start asking you about it, and then you're like, I can barely remember it.
But yeah, it was one day in January 2019.
2019. So you got to bullshit your answer most of the time. I was like,
yeah, it was like a things. Crafty was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally get that. Literally the last big thing I worked on, still getting tweets about it today. I mean, whatever.
Whatever.
The life of a famous person.
No. Does anybody want to hear me talk about this some more? I don't think so.
That's time.
So what projects do you got going now, Joy?
So I'm trying to expand Supportive White Parents into a full-length thing.
What?
So working on that. Yeah.
I'd like you to know that, Earl.
Yeah. And for those
I'm hearing about it.
For those who don't know, Supportive White Parents is now an hour-long musical comedy. It's starring at Second City, and Joy is the writer, creator, and main actor in that. Earl is also in the show, and Caitlin here has also been in the show. So 3 of us are on the show, basically. So you should go check it out.
Connected, yeah. When it comes back, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, currently on hiatus, but normally Fridays at 7 at Second City.
Right.
And it's about an Asian girl, me, who wishes on a shooting star for Supportive White Parents. And beyond that, I'm trying to I should write a second screenplay whenever I'm done with the longer version of that. And then I'm waiting to hear on a couple jobs that I'm up for. So hopefully I get something. Money would be great.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Just doing a lot of self-tape auditions, or
a few. Yeah. I thought about getting a lapel mic on Amazon, and then I put it on save for later, and then got mise en place bowls instead. So I guess those are my priorities.
Yeah. The important stuff, the mise en place bowls.
Yeah. I need somewhere to put my garlic.
I know, exactly. You can't just leave it on the chopping board. That's
I just put mine in the fridge.
Yeah, what are we, animals?
Yeah.
Whoa, what separates us from the animals if we don't have mise en place bowls? Anyway.
Said no one never.
Said no one never. Rhinosaur94 in chat says Stardew crowd.
Yeah, Stardew crowd.
Have to spectate on mute for now, but here for the support. Thank you, Rhinosaur94. Guts Heat, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Guts?
What's
up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. I feel like there's like this weird delay. I'm getting like a lot of air, but
yeah.
It's okay.
I'm getting a little bit too, but so good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Jen?
I was gonna say Joy looks a little frozen for me.
Yeah.
She's grinning very nicely though. She's got a very cute grin on.
Oh, actually, I don't see her at all on mine.
Oh.
There's a pause. Yeah, there's a delay on hers.
Oh, there she is. Wait,
Yeah,
I heard her for a second.
Joy!
Joy!
To the world.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
Well, we can hear your voice. We can keep talking to you.
I mean, it's Zoom.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Or can we?
Okay, cool. Yeah, my computer is like really slow right now. I was so excited when they announced the new MacBook Air, but I'm like, should I get it now in these times? Or I don't know.
I kind of
in this economy.
Yeah, like are people buying anything other than toilet paper and food right now? I don't know.
I mean, you could trade toilet paper for a MacBook Air. I think
you probably could. Yeah. Like a Costco.
I give you a Costco bag. Yeah.
Oh, it's too good.
They're like, no, sorry, we only take paper towels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I think
I
toilet
only take
paper
hand
is worth
sanitizer.
more.
Yeah.
Oh.
And hand sanitizer. There goes.
Star Wars themed hand wipes.
Ooh, even
As
Wow.
well as, well, this is not as cool, but Disney Cars themed hand wipes.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Something to wipe your butt with.
Are they printed on the paper?
I don't know. I haven't opened them yet. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Time I need to
Let's
clean
see.
myself.
Yeah.
Nice.
You could sell those for the entirety of like all of our Pangeekery gear.
Their souls. Yeah, I know. Right?
Yeah.
Just auction it. If we next charity stream, toilet paper. You get a roll.
You get a roll, and you get a roll.
So, Joy, I know that you're gonna. Actually, I was gonna bring up like the con stuff, but like that hasn't. All that stuff has gotten canceled, right?
I don't know. I haven't heard from. You mean like the Supernatural convention?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I haven't heard from them yet. I mean, it's in June. So, I mean, like, there's the super optimistic hope that maybe things will be normal by then. But, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm also hoping that, but they've already canceled E3, which is also in June. So I'm like, I think everything's kind of up in the air right now. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm hoping we get to step outside, our doors in a couple of weeks. Maybe 4 weeks. Is it 4 weeks? I don't know.
I saw this meme online. It was like, remember places?
And that's just it.
Yeah, that was it. It was like, it was a picture of a place.
That's.
I can do this, guys.
I wish I could laugh at that. I'm just kidding.
I can't even. Wow.
No, it's kind of like too soon, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys, Joy, and most of you can, if not all of you, can answer this probably too. As actors, how have your like auditions and performances like tapered off? Like you guys, we kind of mentioned self-taping, right? So
Right.
How valuable is that now? Because there's a skill in itself in self-taping, right? And can some of you guys explain to people that might not be actors what self-taping auditions are?
Sure. So self-taping is basically, when you go in for a regular audition, you go to a casting director's office usually, and you sit in the waiting room, and they usually put you on camera anyway for that first audition. So sometimes, and this has been like a growing trend over the past few years, casting directors will ask directly for a self-tape. So you get a friend to read for you, you set up a camera in whatever space you have, or you go to like one of these self-tape places, and you do the read that way. So ever since like the lockdown has happened, a lot of the stuff has moved over to that. Even on the VO side, a lot of times I would go into my agent's office and I would do my reads there. Now they're all the offices are closed, and they're asking me to do turn in all my auditions recorded here at home at my home studio. So there's it's just the way things are happening right now.
Thanks for the sub, Infernal.
Thank you.
Yeah, Infernal, thank you for the sub. I don't know. Has everybody? Joy disappeared.
Joy disappeared.
No.
Has everybody been getting more self or like just like auditions, and they're all self tapes?
I've been getting none. So the thing is, like when Man of God was canceled, suddenly I became available for all of the pilots that were auditioning. So then, like, I got 2 pilot auditions in the span of like 24 hours that I had to tape, and then I sent them in really quickly.
Right.
And then the day afterwards was when, my manager and agents were like, okay, so it seems like, oh, hey, Joy.
You back?
Hi, sorry about that. My old ass MacBook died. This is why I should get
Oh, that happened.
Oh, it's all good.
Oh.
Hi, Joy.
Guess that answers your question earlier.
But yeah, we were just talking about self-tapes and what does auditioning look like in this season. And I was just saying that I had auditioned for some pilots, and then afterwards, they told us that production is shut down for everything. So now it's just completely quiet as it was before. So I haven't been getting self-tapes at all, and my manager has driven herself up to Santa Barbara. So I think everybody's just kind of like washed their hands of stuff. I'm sure like voiceover is still going on, maybe.
Yeah, voiceover is still going on.
Strong still.
Oh, JK Dragon King mentions Zoom auditions too.
Zoom auditions. What's that?
Is that really a thing?
No,
or is he just kidding? Okay. I mean, I don't see why not.
Why not?
Well, there are specific like services for that, but.
And I heard of somebody who like screen tested from acting class. But I don't. Yeah, like this is like a heard from someone. Right. So.
I mean, somewhere.
Like Jen said, I actually did have a day of work last week, doing dubbing on a project. So yeah, voiceover is still kind of happening, but you can run that with like a skeleton crew. I mean, it's like all you really need in house at that point is like the audio engineer and the director. And somebody else, you know, whoever's on script and whatever, they can like they can Skype in. So
they can. This morning, I know this as a fact because this morning I was awoken by my roommate.
Right.
Screaming.
Oh God.
He was doing an audition.
Oh wow.
And I was kicking myself because the night before she's like, "Am I too loud?" I was like, "Oh my God, girl, I never hear you. Go for it." I never hear you. Oh my God. I was like dreaming her lines. Like the lines repeating and weaving into my dream. And it was like making me go psycho. And that's how I know like acting world, you know, voice acting world is still going strong.
Yeah, it's still happening.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Joy, do you remember your Oh no, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was on a Veil for like a small role in a pilot, like just like a co-star, and then it was supposed to shoot March 30th through April 9th, and then they're like, oh, we're probably gonna push to April or May. And I'm like, okay, cool. Aww. Yeah, kind of a bummer, but hopefully, you know, when things get back to normal, they'll ramp it up again.
Yeah, I think people are going to be like champing at the bit to get, you know, going once everything starts back up.
Absolutely, yeah.
Joy, do you remember what your
right? Right, guys? We're making our own skits.
Yes, we're gonna make all sorts of skits.
Our own things. I'm gonna tell you guys about this afterwards. Actually, I got some ideas.
Okay, yay!
And then we're gonna upload them on like
onto the gram. Yeah.
And TikTok, because now we have a Panky Cree TikTok.
Oh my gosh!
Nowadays on the TikTok.
Didn't even know.
Joy, do you remember your first audition actually?
Oh, my very first audition. Oh my gosh.
Like professionally.
Oh, professional.
Yeah.
I think
it's like she's like PCN.
I had two on the same day. One was for 90210 for Bookish Girl. And she was selling Adderall, and then the second one that same day was for the Muppets movie. It was for Waitress. And I booked the 90210. No, 90210 one. So
nice.
Yeah.
The 90210
Yeah.
Bookish Girl.
I was like, for a second, I was like, wait a minute. And then I remember there was a remake, the new 90210. I was like,
I'm older.
Wait,
than
how? I was like, wait a minute.
Joy is 50.
Yeah, I was like, wait, how old are you?
Asian door.
Yeah.
Guts Heat. Yeah, I know a lot of weird interactions going on with regards to like working from home.
Network traffic.
Yeah.
What was your first audition or professional one?
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine was gosh, it was for a
porn.
I think it was a car. It was for a car commercial that turned into a porno. No, it was for a car commercial, and it required me to have my shirt off, and I was like, "No, I don't want to do this."
What was this for? What was this for?
It was for a car commercial, I think. Yeah.
Ford?
Oh, I don't remember. What?
He's a working man.
Oh, I didn't. I had not. I didn't book it, but I remember being so nervous. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and whoever was the session runner could plainly see it on my face, and I remember saying, "Dude, it's all right. Just it's not a big deal. Just calm down." But yeah, that was way back in 2007 or something like that.
Was there a black couch there too, Earl?
Yes. I did not sit on it or get anywhere close to it. So, yeah.
I think only a few people will get that joke, but I'm glad you got it. Earl.
I'm pretty sure.
I got it. I just shook my head.
Internet.
Oh, got
That
it.
joke.
Old ass
We just-
Very cliche.
I feel because I don't know. Yeah. Well, what about Caitlin? Jen, do you have first?
When you say professional, you mean like paying gigs?
Yes.
Paying it like in the industry.
What about theater?
The theater as well. Yeah, because I mean you're getting paid
like a paying, like a
But
paying
not in school.
acting gig. Yeah.
no, not school. Yeah, not
And
scholastic. Yeah, paying.
God, I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Maybe
Either.
back in like 2006, 2007, something like that. Yeah, I was in high school. Probably, I don't know. I remember I got cast in for The King and I, which is a very non-PC show and should not be put on anymore.
Right.
Oh, what role did you play?
Oh, the first time I did it, I was just like a random wife. But then the second time I did it, I was the princess. I was Tuptim.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Killed in the end. Yeah, it was great.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Mitch Narito in chat says, "How many shirtless commercials do you have?" I have three that
Really?
I know of. Yeah.
Wow.
So one was for California Lottery, one was for Roundtable Pizza, and another one was a spec commercial for a product called Skinny.
Why are you always shirtless?
These are auditions that didn't or is it out there? You said auditions, right?
Why don't I?
No. These are commercials I've shot. So
and came out.
Yeah, and came
What?
out.
Is this on YouTube? I gotta find this.
Oh yeah, they're all on YouTube
Oh,
that I know of. So
Pizza Hut. You said what pizza?
no, Round Table Pizza.
Round Table Pizza?
Yeah, Round Table.
Why do you have your shirt off on the pizza commercial?
I don't know.
Yeah, someone.
It's because I usually have my shirt off. Like, literally, Joy, before you signed on, I was like, I guess I should put a shirt on.
Earl's like telling the director, "Hey, you want me to take my shirt off? Because I'll take it off."
Dude,
guys.
you're playing a lawyer.
But, shirtless lawyer.
Yeah, that's how it goes, right?
So Joy, can you tell us about Mythic Quest? I don't know how much you're allowed to tell us, but can you just give us the spiel on like what kind of show it is and stuff?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess it's kind of like Silicon Valley, but it's set in a video game company. So yeah, workplace comedy about the video game industry, and it's super funny. It's spearheaded by Rob McElhaney, who played Mac in
Right.
It's Always Sunny, right?
It's Always Sunny. Yeah, so it was really fun to work on it. Like everyone was just really funny and heavily improvised. Like a lot. I mean, there was a script, but like we were really encouraged to play. And it was just so cool to watch everyone work. Like it was just like a master class in improv for sure.
Oh man. So you
good.
mostly had to improv your way through a lot of their episodes, and how do they choose like what they decided to want? Or
Well, I only was in one episode and there was a script. So we did the script for however many takes they needed. And then they're like, oh, like, feel free to play with it. Or the series regular, she played with it a little bit. So I was like, okay, like react to that. And they would give me new lines like, say this line instead, say these 3 lines instead. So yeah, that was really fun. And what was the other question that you asked?
Oh, I was just saying, like, how do they decide like what to keep from all those things? Or do you not know what they've decided on until later? Like you're like, oh, they went with that clip or whatever,
Oh, it's definitely that. Yeah. The same
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool that they went with that one. Yeah.
Gotcha. That's so cool though. So then what is your character in the show?
The series regular that I'm supposed to remind her, she works at the video game company and she's looking for a new female streamer or something for, I guess, something akin to Twitch, I guess. I'm pretty ignorant in these matters. But so my character's name is Female Streamer. Like that's officially what I auditioned for. And so she walks past my booth at this video game convention and she's all like, ooh, like, because she's actually also Filipino and she also wears glasses. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
That's awesome.
And for people that don't know, Mythic Quest is kind of like loosely a parody of all the League of Legends guys, right? From my understanding,
Like Riot.
Riot Games, right? Is it right?
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, from my understanding, I think it's kind of like that whole game culture and the online gaming culture of League of Legends, that fanaticism that happens around it. Who they're basing it off.
Yeah, the joke was like, we were at my episode. We were at a convention, and there are lots of fans and like super fans, and my character had only like 12 viewers or something really low, like a really low amount of for I guess that world or something.
Right.
And so, Joy, like when in your episode, I know it's a while ago that you recorded this. So, who do you remember who directed you, or how was just being directed as? Yeah, how was it like being directed in that show and whatnot?
I think I don't remember 100%, but I feel like Rob was at least one of the directors, or one of the writers, because he was one of the people who was throwing out like, try this line. And yeah, it was just really fun. It was like really like, oh, this is everything that UCB has trained me for in Second City, like just being on my feet and like just like going with the flow, like, okay, like I guess the line is this now, like just have fun with it. And yeah, it was like actor gymnastics almost.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's how it feels a lot like on semi-scripted stuff. But yeah, that's dope. I need to catch that. Let's catch it, everyone. So I do want to bring up, speaking of fandoms, Supernatural a little bit. Which episode was it that you were on? And you played a character, and her name?
Maeve? Supernatural Maeve, yeah, Maeve. Yeah, it was based on one of the writer of the episode. Like I guess it was based on his wife's real friends from theater school or something like that.
Nice. What episode were you on? Like it was like a pretty big, like a milestone.
Oh yeah, the 200th episode.
Nice.
Oh wow.
That show has been going on for a while.
Oh hi.
Oh
Holly.
yeah. Oh yeah, Holly just subscribed to us. I mean, followed us.
Hey, thank you for the follow, Holly.
Oh, Holly.
Awesome.
Please.
Holly's.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you asked a question?
Oh, no, like what's that been like being part of like something with like such a huge following?
Oh yeah, no, it's really cool. Like when the breakdown came out for the audition, it had this note on the bottom. It was like, note, like this is a pretty big episode, like it's a 200th episode. The actor may be asked to go to conventions after and blah blah. I was like, gosh, I really hope I get this one. And it was like gonna shoot in Vancouver. I'm like, oh, that'd be so cool to get this. And then I did get it. I was like, oh my gosh, like my life is gonna change. And then my life did not change, but it was still.
Oh gosh.
I feel like I know the feeling.
Holly, thank you for the subscription. Thank you for the sub.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Paranga37 in chat says, AB, this isn't considered social media. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, but sure. Yeah. You didn't have to feel guilty about that, but we appreciate it anyway, Holly. She said, well, you said sub, so I felt guilty, but
you guys are the Asian parents of Twitch.
Kappa, oddball, live streaming entertainment. I guess that's in response to social media, but yeah.
I guess.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I was gonna ask Joy. So, can you tell us about your writing process? Because you've written for like Netflix too, right?
Oh yeah. I wrote for this show called The Healing Powers of Dude. It was a kids and family show about a kid with social anxiety disorder and an emotional support dog. Mm-hmm. So it was really cute, and like it was about this really important, I think, social issue that people don't get to see very often, much less programming for like a younger audience. So that was really fun. It was my first time in a writing room. So yeah, it was very cool to see how other people work and to learn from the other people in the room. There was so much experience there. Yeah, it was like we would spend like 15 minutes over like should the punctuation, and it was like, oh, I'm not the only one who does this, like cool, like yeah, or like we would punch up and things like that. So it was just so cool to work with other people.
Oh, wow. And in the writer's room, is there like a set like role for each member of the writing team? Like, is somebody the proofreader? Is somebody checking for linear storylines, you know what I mean? Or is everybody just kind of like flocking like pigeons to a horde and going like, let's just keep tackling it? Like,
the room kind of I think I've only been in one room, so I can't speak to how other rooms work, and they probably all depend on the showrunner and how the showrunner runs it. Oh, somebody watched that show. That's nice. Thanks for watching.
Guts watched that show and liked it.
Thank you. So in our room, it kind of progressed like, we broke the season. Like, okay, this is how this arc is going to go. Like, this is how the story is going to go. Right. And then we broke each episode, and then we were punching up by the end. And then, by the end, we're like cutting things. So I think our strengths would come out during the process. Like me personally, like I'm okay with story, but like I think my strength is like punch up and joke. So I had a lot more to say by the end. Like, like I would have all these joke pitches, and at the beginning I was more like listening to like people's pitches for character arcs and things like that, and less pitchy. But also as a staff writer, like there's kind of like an unspoken hierarchy in rooms from what I gather on the internet and from my experience. And so like you don't have to say as much when you're a staff writer too, because you have less experience and the other people just know more about story and stuff. So I think naturally too, you like don't say as much at the beginning of the room, and then you start to like learn, and then you're like, okay, I have a little bit more to contribute. And yeah.
That's super cool.
So they have their little like pecking order or seniority in staff.
In a way, yeah. But I think it just naturally comes out that way, because of course the showrunners know the most about their show because it's their show. And then like the story, the people, the producing, the story produce, all those titles, like they just know more, so they have more to contribute to the conversation. And then there was something else that I wanted to speak to that now I cannot remember. Oh yeah, other people's superpowers. We made jokes in the room that would come out. Like some people were really good at like condensing pages or stage direction. Like, it sounds dumb that we would spend time on that, but it's actually kind of important. Like, things should be as efficient as possible. Or like some people were really good. Yeah, and some people.
Me and Caitlin are like nodding our heads right now, like yes.
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people were really good at character arcs and things like that. So yeah, people have different strengths, and if you can do all the things, then you'll work a lot as a writer.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things. I wanted to ask Joy a last question. Did anybody else have a question?
I kind of had one. I had one more. Okay, go ahead, Jen.
Oh wait, no, but I feel bad. I already asked Joy a question.
Okay, well, I was just gonna ask for Joy, for people who might want to be staff writers in shows, and like, how did you get to that point of being a staff writer?
So I actually came to LA to be a writer more than an actor. So my first industry job was interning at Nickelodeon for production for the show Fairly Odd Parents when I was in college. So that was really fun. And I was like, okay, like my plan is to go up the back end, kind of like the quote unquote typical route is to be a PA and then writer's PA and script coordinator, and then be a staff writer from there. But every time I interviewed for a PA job, I never got it. And then I booked 3 co-star roles as an actor. That's like the lowest level of role that season. And then I got a call back to producers for pilot season. So I was like, okay, like I guess I'll just ride this horse in the direction that it's going. But I kept writing on the side. And eventually I got the Sesame Street writing fellowship. And then a pilot that I wrote, I got a lit manager. That's a weird story. Like I just, I met him out in the world, and then, but he was working in development at the time. And eventually he was like, oh, like I'm changing to management. Would you like to be my client? And then he was the one who like sent my stuff to, he had a relationship with this exec that he knew her from around. And so at Netflix. And so he sent her my stuff and she liked it. So she sent my stuff to the showrunners of this show, and then they liked it. And then I got into the room, and luckily my childhood trauma lined up with the show. I'm kidding. But that was sort of what the when you go into these interviews, I haven't had that many, so I can't speak too much to how everyone gets their job, but it helps when your specific life experiences kind of line up with what the show's about, because then you have a lot more to contribute, like to the episodes and the characters and all that, since you've lived it.
That's cool. It's a super valuable information for anybody that's looking to become a staff writer. I do want to say that I did watch your episode, and it was a musical episode. And it was,
yes, they gave
it was really good. It was very good.
Thank you. I forgot to, I thought of a better answer to your fandom question. A few, so I actually got, I didn't think, so my life didn't change like overall, but I got like thousands of followers on Twitter, and like people on like from Brazil would like tweet at me or like make fan art, or like on Instagram too. Like I just got like hundreds of followers just from Supernatural, from being on one episode. So I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, and every once in a while they'll like ask me for advice or like tag me on stuff, or like there'll be some, or on Tumblr, like there's like little memes or like GIFs. So that's kind of cool to be like, oh, like I was on this one thing and people still think that's cool, or people will remember me from like, I'll like when I was on Raising Hope, or like I was on Modern Family, they're like, oh, that's Maeve. Like they'll be like, oh, I remember her from that other thing.
Mason Lieberman in the chat says, this is such good stuff. Thanks for contributing all this info. Thank you, Mason, for being there.
Oh yeah, I'm glad it's somewhat helpful. Oh, and then someone, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, someone asked if I watched any new shows lately. Well, a movie that I watched lately was Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon. It's made by the same people who did Chicken Run, the same British people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, stop motion.
Stop motion, yeah.
Machine.
Yeah, claymation. Yeah, it was really good. I highly recommend that movie.
And that's right. And you were in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend too, right?
Yeah, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, I played the main character's cousin, and the joke was that I was a dud, and my one line was, "Yeah, bitch," and I did say GIF. Is it supposed to be GIF? Sorry, guys.
I say GIF. I say this will be forever if we say this.
I alternate between the two just to throw everybody off.
Just to fuck with people.
Yeah. Just to fuck with people. Yeah. Joshua Hortiz 24. How hard is it to go from freelance, have almost creative control, to being part of a writing team?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, it is a different lifestyle. Like I remember when I got this writing job, I mean, it was a pretty short order. It was 8 episodes and the writing room was about 9 or 10 weeks. And I was like, oh, I'm going to have to like go somewhere every day from like 10 to 6. Like, that's weird. I'm going to have to like, well, I didn't have to pack my lunch because they
fed you,
provided it. Yeah. So that was nice. But yeah, it was definitely like kind of a different thing to go from like, I can choose whatever I want to do all day to like, I have to sit in this room. And if I want to walk, I have to do it before, I have to go to the gym before 10 a.m. or after 6. Like, and then also like when you're writing on someone else's like show, it's like, of course you're going to defer to them because it's their baby. Like, and so it's a little bit different creatively. Like you're there to support them and not necessarily like writing your
for yourself.
Yeah, if that makes any sense. Yeah, like that's what you're there for, which is cool too. Like I think that it's so valuable to like learn how to write like someone else and to write in someone else's style and learn what their aesthetic is, because I think they're all really great muscles.
Now, did you know anyone in the writer's room when you joined, or like was everyone kind of new to you?
I didn't know anyone actually. The script coordinator, we were in the same world. Like he was also in Second City, like the comedy world, but I didn't know him personally until the room. And then it went from like not knowing them at all to like spending 8 hours a day together. So that was fun.
Regular coworkers, what's that like?
Yeah,
I know. Weird.
I must say that it is weird to like going from freelance to like full time, like editing, camera shooting, seeing the same people on a regular basis.
I bet. Oh crap. Okay. Yeah, that's so cool. Do you have anything in store coming up?
Just supported by parents whenever we get to leave our houses again, and
yeah,
I guess that would be my specific dream project. I would love Supported by Parents to be a studio feature, or the next Always Be My Maybe, but like musical, like Netflix streaming feature.
That'd be so
nice.
awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and then running on Broadway too. That would be cool. The Asian American Book of Mormon.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chicago, maybe. I don't know.
I think I honestly think it's possible for you guys, man. It's a great show.
Thank you so much.
Jambi Roy.
Thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow. Matthew.
Hey. What's up, Jambi?
Actually. Yeah, join Walt. Okay, I'm just going through chat. Yeah, thank you everybody for the follows and the subs. Y'all are amazing. One more thing before we say bye to Joy. Where can everybody follow you online?
I am at JOY REGULLANO on Instagram, and you can find the Supportive White Parents Facebook event on Facebook, I guess. And I'm on Twitter, and yeah, I'm on YouTube. You can find my old videos on YouTube. I don't update it that often anymore, but you can find White Fetish. That one's always it's an oldie but a goodie.
Nice.
How about your short films? Are they all on YouTube?
I should really release it, but the only thing is I have to bake cookies for my Kickstarter supporters, and I just don't feel like it. So.
Okay. Well, Joy, is there anything else you wanted to share before we bid you adieu?
Oh, someone asked what got me into writing. I guess I just like I like making people laugh. That is something that gives me a lot of joy, and also just being able to there are certain stories that really need to be told, I think, or that I feel called to tell. Like Supportive White Parents, I didn't write that because I thought it would sell. I wrote it because it was something that I needed to come out of me. It's something I was processing. So for me, writing isn't it's almost not a choice. It was something that I had to do. And to be able to represent other voices in my community, to be able to represent my parents' story and other people's stories through this medium is something that is also a calling for me in writing, and being able to represent Filipinos on screen as well. So, yeah.
Oh, sorry, really quick. Speaking of which, once we all get released from our homes, is Filipino AF also gonna come back? And what are you guys planning to do with that?
Yeah, well, Filipino AF is this comedy variety show that I co-host and co-produce at UCB. And yeah, we had a show scheduled April 13th, but UCB is closed indefinitely. Hopefully, who knows when it'll be back. But yeah, we would love to come back whenever. So you can follow us it's at Filipino AF Show, I think, on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook. I feel so square saying Instagram completely, IG, Instagram.
I'm going to say the entire name, Instagram. University of California, Berkeley.
UCB, Upright Citizens Brigade is where the comedy theater is.
University of California, Burbank.
Upright Citizens Brigade,
yeah.
And Second City are two major improv troops.
That's where a lot of the Saturday Night Live guys are coming out of.
They're training centers here in LA. So
yeah.
All right. Big training centers. But yeah, thank you, Joy, for joining us. It has been super enlightening. It's been fun talking to you. Again, what is your social handle?
Thanks for having me at JOY REGULLANO. Yay.
Awesome.
And yay. That's it.
Thank you, Joy. Thanks. I'll see you later.
See ya.
So we're going to say bye to Joy because we're going to talk about Westworld next, and she has not caught up yet, but she's going to keep her camera on so we can keep the format of the screen pretty. Sorry, dude.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah. Yeah. So we just Westworld season 3 has dropped. What has everybody thought of the first 2 episodes? Let's say the first one specifically.
Should we recap what we learned from the second season real quick?
Sure.
And then we'll launch into it. So that said, I feel like the whole second season was a blur for me. Right. I still feel like the first season was the best as far as narrative goes, because it was tied off very cleanly, and then season 2 was opening up different things, right? So Dolores now is freed from her imposed empathy, so she feels this vengeful spirit now, and she wants to break out of Westworld and also take her revenge out on the humans in real life. And then what else happens? Much of it is still spent in the Westworld park. Right. It isn't until the very end that things you start to see oh, has Dolores ever been out in the real world? And then they finally bust out at the end.
Yeah, and then it's also the emergence of and the mastery of her Maeve's powers and Matrix style powers throughout the episode, right?
Yeah.
Right. I think the main point of season 2 was everybody was talking about the Valley Beyond, the world outside of the park. the real world or the new world, whatever. It was called several things. Glory over the course of the season. And it was everybody's quest for that. Some people thought it was a weapon. Dolores was like, this is a weapon. Some people thought it was Eden. Some people thought it was salvation. So it was a little bit of everything. But it was everybody's different narratives going to that one point, basically, over the course of the season.
Yeah. And then there was a Shogun world as well.
Yeah.
There's also some
Shogun
kind of
world.
Rajanit world. Like, you know.
Yeah, there was that Emily was in.
Yeah, there's like.
Yeah, like the safari, Indian safari.
I was like, throw that one in there. I didn't know that world existed. That was pretty cool, though.
Yeah. All that stuff. And now we know.
Now we know there's a World War II world.
Other worlds.
It's like a World War II world, and like now there's like a Game of Thrones world or something.
Yeah. Or maybe Game of Thrones only took place in that world. Who knows?
Maybe. Who knows? Everybody is a life model decoy.
That would explain the bad writing towards the end of the season when Lee Sizemore died.
Now that we're talking about it, Earl and I just did season 2 over the past couple days.
Yeah.
So those events are fresh in our minds. And I just want to say that going into it, I was kind of filled with dread because Jen had always told me that season 2 was just not good.
Right.
But I'm sorry. Season 2. No, I maybe because I binged it. So all the things that were kind of confusing, I kind of just took it in stride. I enjoyed season 2 up until the very last episode. And then just everything Game of Thrones season 8 ated in itself.
Really?
It capsized itself.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big.
What the fuck am I watching? I'm like kind of pissed off right now. I feel like death doesn't mean anything for this world anymore. How many times are we going to watch the main characters die, even important deaths, and they're still back? There's no consequences to anything. And like, I think I heard somewhere that season 2, like, the people online, like on Reddit, were already guessing the theories correctly. So Jonathan Nolan and the others were like, okay, well, we have to change the ending now.
Oh, God. That's exactly what happened with Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and it was obvious. I was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense anymore. And then I could barely get through season 3.
Well, here's the thing, too, is just that, like, I can forgive a lot in terms of what happens plot-wise or story-wise. But if it feels slapped together, then that's what really makes me go, oh, man, okay. So that's where they decided to go. And again, like Caitlin said, there's no consequence for anybody, really. Yeah. Like the humans died, but like even when you had a human that died, like it was never it felt not important. You know what I'm saying?
Like how many? Okay, so William got shot like 5 billion times over the course of like 4 episodes, and this motherfucker's still alive at the end. Like they never took him to a hospital. He's literally riding a horse, even though he's been shot through like 10 times. And then they keep shooting him, and then Dolores fucks up his hand, and he's still fine. He's standing upright at the end. I'm like, and some people get shot once and they're dead already. Like now he just has plot armor. I don't know. That really annoys me.
There were a lot of times during the season where I felt like characters were not given their due diligence in terms of like being intelligent.
They're just there now. They didn't know what to do with them.
For the sake of rule of cool.
Rule of cool.
Can you remind us what it is?
Rule of cool is like you can do whatever you want you tell whatever story you want in medium as long as it looks cool or is cool, you know? So and it was just like stupid stuff. Like I have this huge problem with season 1. And
which one?
My big thing with season 1, and I could never let it go, is why the 2 techs, the guy,
Felix and Sylvester.
Leo Nam and Maeve. Why do they follow Maeve? Why did they?
I don't know. Well, at first,
why did they turn? There's no reason, because they were not under immediate threat of death, and even then, you know, it's I don't know. It felt very hand wavy. So
they were just unnecessary through all of.
And then that's such a huge part of Maeve's storyline, where it's to the detriment of her character.
Agreed.
Interesting. So
I personally. Oh, sorry. You want to go first, Jen?
No, go ahead.
Okay. As for the text. I can see what you're saying. I think, and I guess for them, I feel like at first they were scared of her,
right?
And then I think eventually they got into the whole fascination of how is this machine beating the coding and programming. It became like a point of fascination. And
but now you have to ask yourself, would that like lead you to like to betray your entire race?
The human race.
The human race. Yeah,
I mean, is it really betraying them? In a sense, you're just really trying to get her to go to this. I don't know how
Absolutely
much.
It is, man. Absolutely, it is.
I think if you were following, what's her name?
Dolores.
Dolores. Yeah, you're betraying. But Maeve, she was kind of just. I mean, maybe because I'm seeing it as a viewer, but for them, I don't feel like she was like as violent as Dolores was. She was just trying to get her daughter and trying to go to this promised land,
right?
Trying to escape.
But she was still killing people along the way.
Maeve?
Yeah.
I feel like she was killing people who were trying to kill her.
Yeah, but then it just starts getting
Yeah.
Dolores was like,
why?
Right, she was. But I mean, like, even right now we're trying to headcanon this, and like I don't think that's strong enough.
Clear. Yeah.
You can't sit here and like rely on headcanon.
Sorry, was the question why are Felix and Sebastian, that's his name?
Following
Sylvester?
I was just saying that was my that's what stuck in my craw for season 1.
When they had a chance to escape, why didn't they?
Yeah, that must have really pissed you off because it was all throughout season 2.
Oh yeah, I couldn't stand season 1, honestly.
Yeah. That didn't really make sense.
Well, I don't know. We're talking about season 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
What did y'all think about that first episode?
Well, actually, so jumping off from like the second season, which I felt like was a desperate attempt to reintroduce conflict into something that was so cleanly wrapped at the end of season 1. Season 3 definitely feels like, okay, like how do we pull a narrative back from everything that we just did?
No more story to tell.
And here's the thing though, I love the casting of Aaron Paul. I actually think his introduction,
he's great.
I think his introduction is actually a very smart move because we need to see new people. We can't just like reinvent
everybody to be wiped
continuous like cycles with existing characters whose storylines we already know. Otherwise we're just telling the same story, you know? So it's nice that Aaron Paul comes in and he's like perfectly written because like you know, he's also struggling against the machine of corporate greed, you know, even though he's a human. He's also you know, he's a working class individual. He's also caring for a parent in hospice, you know? And I say all these things because he actually is the perfect candidate to have empathy with Dolores. And my big thing, even though in episode 2, you don't see him and Dolores again, even though at the end of episode 1, they come together in their storylines, I really want her to have some kind of empathy once more, to have some kind of moral conflict.
Right. She's become uninteresting.
She's become so two-dimensional.
Yeah.
So like if say she can like see herself in Aaron Paul's character, there is some hope that there is some like kind of struggle that could bring her dimension, or like it might just be more interesting, honestly.
Right.
So in some weird way, I'm kind of curious to see what Dolores can do. I mean, like what exactly does bringing down the corporate beast mean? You know, does that mean killing all of the human race? Does that mean killing only those who are powerful and mighty and in control of Westworld? What does that even mean? You know? So I don't know. Like she acts with such conviction, but until she can prove where her motivations are coming from, I have yet to see and believe the span of what she's doing. If that makes sense.
I get that. Like you kind of want a clear picture of the motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, with the
that's what I mean. I'm just like, that's why I didn't like season 2, is because they flattened out Dolores and Bernard's characters. They went from very interesting characters to like, I'm nervous and I'm mentally jacked up, or like I'm gonna kill everyone.
I actually thought Bernard was very interesting in season 2. He's kind of like tortured by like what to do, right? It was Dolores who I felt like had kind of turned into a one-dimensional character. And then poor Teddy.
No, poor Teddy.
What the hell happened to James Marsden?
James Marsden.
What the fuck was that all about?
They did him wrong. They did him wrong.
They did him dirty. And the only justification I can come up for what they did to James Marsden's character was like, maybe they're like, see guys, now you know what the female feels like when she doesn't have anything interesting to do. You know what I mean? Like he was just following her.
Yeah.
Usually the sidekick doesn't get to really do anything.
Yeah.
Same thing with Hector. Rodrigo Santoro.
Yeah.
He was just like following Maeve, like because he.
It did feel like.
Well, I mean,
right?
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of. And I don't know. Like, I mean, I think that's what they were going for, is that the strong female character, and then.
Oh yeah, from the beginning, that's clear. But you can still make the male.
Still have
Yeah, everyone should be interesting.
What I find ironic is that every time somebody, especially a host, breaks out of whatever was programmed into them, they actually become less interesting to me because they seem more one-dimensional. Despite having made like a moral choice, they are somehow flatlined into one purpose now.
Yeah.
I just want to see more struggle now, you know? Like, I miss that. Dolores was my favorite character in season 1.
Who?
Oh,
Dolores.
Yeah.
Oh, Dolores. Yeah,
she totally lost me in season 2. I was just like, all right, you're just a zealot now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Did y'all want to talk about episode 2?
You guys can talk about it. Earl and I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Are you okay with spoilers?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna mute and just like let us know.
Oh, just give us a thumbs up when you've both muted.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Okay.
You're gonna listen to this?
I want to hear this. Go on.
Okay.
I kind of want to hear what's going on. Earl, you don't have to listen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me.
Okay.
Do I care? Why? Whatever. Just go.
Do you care?
I mean, I'm thinking like.
I don't know if I care.
I'm listening.
Thinking, is there some serious twist? I mean, it's all set. It's still set.
Maybe if Lynn didn't watch next episode. I don't know. Like maybe I do.
Here's the thing. Okay, can we start talking about it? Are you okay?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, all right. So season 2, we actually follow Maeve once more, and I really love Maeve's new storyline because after the events of season 2, her consciousness ball, right, is now in a locked cabinet in the real world, and she's playing through scenarios until she realizes, oh, I know the nature of my reality. I'm in a simulation. This whole thing is a simulation. And she becomes self-aware of the fact that she is placed in a simulation. She's in the
Matrix.
She's in the Matrix, literally.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she tries to break out of that, and then she actually gets to meet the Maker. So in episode 1, when they talk about how the giant thinking machine, Rehoboam, and how it's actually being run by somebody named Sirach now instead of Liam. So she actually gets to meet Sirach, which is a very interesting conversation to have. And she does run, I mean, like during her time in the Matrix, she runs into a couple of familiar faces, and there are nods and winks to that.
I know Hector was there.
Yeah, like including a wink to like Game of Thrones. But that I think is all secondary. And at first I was like, oh my God, if they're going with this is such cheap story writing. And then turns out it was the Matrix. So I'm like, okay,
this could work. Yeah.
And that, but the key thing to take away is that Maeve has lost her godlike powers.
Right.
She was like the one in the Matrix, and now she's lost the powers of the one.
Or or you're led to believe.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Because like her Matrix powers in season 2 all depended on the existence of the mesh between
which they destroyed, right?
Well, no, it still exists between individual hosts, but if she's sitting there isolated. Like with no other hosts, around, and she's just in simulation, then the mesh doesn't exist for her.
That makes perfect sense. That's probably why they isolated her, because she was in a separate cabinet in vitro by herself.
Right.
No, she wasn't by herself. There was other. There were other worlds in there. So she was in a network. The only problem was that she didn't know she was in the network, or she didn't know where she was. So once she figured it out, then she realized the rules she could break and how she could hack it, basically.
Right.
And it's a pretty cool jailbreak sequence that
I know. There's some very interesting like cinematography that goes into this next episode that I found really interesting. And they gave another nod at like, War World, which is like World War II world.
Yeah.
But one little tiny nice tidbit is that Rehoboam, the name of the program, is actually from the Bible. It's the son of Solomon, right?
Yeah.
So like supposed to be like a wise man with wise ruling, but after his era, there was still a time of revolution and civil war.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, towards the end of like episode 2, Maeve is challenged by Sirach to defeat Dolores, and as of right now, she doesn't accept. So there you are. You're full of spoilers.
Well,
vodka?
Vodka?
You drinking Syrah? It's like a type of alcohol.
Syrah.
Syrah is a wine.
Yeah.
Sirach is the name.
Is the guy. Serrac.
Serrac.
So, I don't know. I may or may not continue watching season 3.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I don't know. I mean, if we have to, I will, but.
Yeah, just check. I don't know. Season 2 I thought it was a good episode and had a lot of like stuff put to. Yeah, I mean, reminds you of like Matrix, Groundhog Day.
Episode 2 or season 2?
Episode 2. Sorry, episode 2.
Sirach is vodka too. You're right, Tori.
Yeah, I was like,
P Diddy's brand.
Sirach. There's Shiraz.
CIROC.
There's a lot of stuff. But I guess if we do decide to keep on talking about Westworld, you'll hear it here first. But I just want to say that actually brings us to the end of our podcast or the stream.
Yay!
So once again, thank you to Joy. Joy
Thanks,
cannot
Joy.
hear us right now, but thank you for joining us. Are we going to go over these resources stuff, Rodney?
Yeah, I think he wanted to like for artists that are.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we do have. I mean, because like I know everybody's kind of stuck at home right now, but if you are a creative and you do have don't exactly have the tools right now, there are a couple things you can get at. First of all, Adobe CC, which is Adobe Creative Suite, that is free for 2 months. If on you can check it out. Just Google that, or they do have a story on Petapixel, so check that out. Also, for all you artists out there, us included, there is a Patreon artists grant. If you search for that on Patreon, you will find it. We'll probably put it in the show notes. But yeah, we all need help right now. Everything is kind of frozen. So do check those things out. We're actually going to put the links in chat. So I just want to throw that out there and make sure everybody's aware of it. Otherwise, do check us out on all the socials, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Pangeekery. That's PANGEEKERY. Do please comment, like, subscribe on this page, on our YouTube, if you feel like it. And we could always use some support. So hit up our donations if you are so in the position to do so. Hit us up here again, same time, same place next week at twitch.tv/Pangeekery, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you to the cast. Thank you to the crew. Thank you to everybody in chat. Y'all are the best. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Stay healthy. Thanks, first responders.